Ladies and gentlemen, losers and haters, frauds and phonies, gather around because we're about to have a history lesson, okay? A deep dive into how DJ Akademiks, the internet's favorite instigator, took the proverbial microphone and roasted Peter Rosenberg, Ebro, and the rest of them Hot 97 relics so bad they had to find new careers.
Yo, Peter Rosenberg and Ebro, they're some salty losers, man. Charlamagne gave them boys a Hot 97 belt for 10 years. 10 years. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. A nigga BTA, that's belt table, for 10 years, every year. Before Charlamagne came on the scene, Hot 97 was the biggest thing possible. Charlamagne beat they for 10 years. Yo, it beat they so much, they dismantled the radio show. They sent this goof right here to go do, this goof started doing wrestling. This goof had to go cover wrestling. You get what I'm saying? And Ebro had to run to Apple. Yo, I see why they hate anything that Charlamagne has been associated with. So Charlamagne started a pod back way back when, and he was for Andrew Schultz. That's when Charlamagne, this is before Charlamagne got too woke. You know what I mean? Charlamagne started doing all this, mental health, anxiety. When Charlamagne was giving it up, roasting, sniffing seats, we're talking about, like, we all know the GOAT era of Charlamagne. Charlamagne my guy, by the way. But we all know Patchy Face Leonard is the GOAT. He's the GOAT, okay? Let's be honest, okay? Charlamagne, I'm not this, but we know that's the GOAT era. Yo, even tone skin Charlamagne, he's definitely getting the bag, but he's too polished, man. He's too polished, man. We see him on CNN and all that. But we all know when Charlamagne looked like a raccoon, he was getting the beats. Yo, he had Hot 97 in shambles. That's a fact. I'm only speaking facts. So they got belt 10 years in a row. You know why he mad at Charlamagne too? Yo, he had one of the first hip-hop podcasts. It's still around. It's called Juan Epstein. Him, Combat Jack Show, one of the first hip-hop podcasts. Charlamagne gave this belt so much that would rather go listen to Charlamagne on Brilliant Idiots talk to a white comedian talk about hip-hop than go listen to his hip-hop backpacking nerdy ass. Real talk, that's facts!
We are gathered here today to discuss a destruction, a legendary, earth-shattering beatdown that is so undeniable, so unequivocal, that even history books should include it. This ain't just any old loss, no. This right here is an autopsy report on Hot 97, a former empire reduced to rubble. And you know who did it? Oh, you know who did it. Charlamagne Tha God, the man, the myth, the raccoon-eyed legend. He didn't just beat them, he eviscerated them. Over a decade, Hot 97 got smoked like a brisket on Labor Day. And now, my friends, we bear witness to the unholy trifecta of L's, Peter Rosenberg, Ebro Darden, and the radioactive remnants of Hot 97. These men, once the self-proclaimed gatekeepers of hip-hop radio, are now the gatekeepers of nothing but pain and nostalgia. Let's keep it a buck, a stack, a full-blown mountain of reality. Hot 97 used to be the throne. This was the place where hip-hop radio mattered. Then something happened, the same way dinosaurs got clapped by an asteroid, the same way Blockbuster got put out of business by Netflix, the same way Ya Rule got sent to the Shadow Realm by 50 Cent. Hot 97 got embarrassed. And who was the one to do it? Patchy-faced Leonard. For 10 years straight, Charlamagne Tha God had these boys in the fetal position. The Breakfast Club wasn't just a show, it was a demolition team sent to bulldoze an entire institution. It wasn't a competition, it was a violation. You got to understand, people, this wasn't just Charlamagne getting in the ring and landing a few jabs. No, this was 10 years of unrelenting, disrespectful, career-ending power punches. Hot 97 got hit so many times they started seeing sponsorship deals in Braille. They couldn't do anything. The listeners knew it. The industry knew it. The advertisers knew it. The humiliation was so deep, so profound, that the station had to start sending their soldiers to new fields of battle. Let's start with Peter Rosenberg, the man who once proudly paraded himself as the voice of the real hip-hop heads, the underground backpacking boom-bap connoisseurs. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. My guy got beat so bad he had to leave rap alone and go talk about wrestling. Yes, wrestling. After taking so many L's in the radio war, Rosenberg went from talking about Nuz and Wu-Tang to discussing suplexes and steel chairs. Imagine that. Imagine stepping into the hip-hop arena thinking you're the second coming of Stretch and Babito, and 10 years later you're out here debating whether Roman Reigns should drop the belt at WrestleMania. That's what happened to Rosenberg. Charlamagne cooked him so thoroughly, so methodically, that he ran to Vince McMahon looking for refuge. It's honestly tragic. But hey, when hip-hop wants nothing to do with you, you gotta find a new hustle, right? I just didn't think it would involve tights and scripted promos. Now let's talk about Ebro Darden. Oh, Ebro, the man who used to bark the loudest. The man who swore up and down that the Breakfast Club could never touch his station. The man who used to call himself the real voice of hip-hop radio. Ebro went from controlling Hot 97 to being a corporate puppet at Apple Music. That's right, folks. He got hit with so many ratings defeats that he had to flee terrestrial radio entirely and go work for the tech overlords in Cupertino. And let's be honest, we all see why. Every single thing Charlamagne touched turned to gold. Every single thing. The man launched podcasts, TV shows, book deals, speaking engagements, all while keeping Hot 97 in a chokehold. Ebro had no choice but to run. It's like when the general realizes the battle is lost and abandons the troops. This man dipped faster than Ya Rule at a financial planning seminar. Let me hit y'all with something crazy. Rosenberg had one of the first hip-hop podcasts. We talking about before the wave, before everybody and their grandmother had a podcast, before it was trendy. Him, Combat Jack, and the OG were really pioneering the space. But guess what happened? Charlamagne gave them boys so much work, so much public humiliation, that people would rather hear him and a white comedian talk about hip-hop than listen to Rosenberg interview the pioneers of the culture. Think about that. Let that marinate. Let that slow cook in your mental crockpot. This is how deep the loss was. Charlamagne turned his podcast, Brilliant Idiots, into an empire, while Rosenberg's show faded into irrelevance. The game wasn't just taken from him. It was snatched from his hands, stomped on, and sent back to him in a shattered package labeled Return to Sender. Now, don't get me wrong. Ebro, Rosenberg, and the ghost of Hot 97 will try to act like they still got it. They'll say they're still in the fight. They'll tell you that the Breakfast Club didn't actually destroy them. But guess what? The streets already decided. The culture already spoke. Charlamagne came, saw, and conquered. The listeners have spoken. The audience ain't tuning into Hot 97 no more. Nobody's checking for Rosenberg's hip-hop takes. Nobody cares about Ebro's opinions. It's over. It's been over. The referee counted to 10 a long time ago. This is history, folks. This is what happens when you get too comfortable at the top. You get taken out by someone hungrier, smarter, and more ruthless. Charlamagne did it to them, and they still ain't recovered. So what are we left with? A sad story of former giants who got humbled in the worst way possible. Ebro hiding behind corporate paychecks. Rosenberg talking about WWE. Hot 97 as a shell of its former self. Tragic, absolutely tragic. And guess what? Charlamagne, thaw God, is still winning. Game, set, match.